$58 million a year, that's how much our public works director says it will cost to maintain the failing roads in Long Beach. In fact, according to the city's own score, from 0 to 100, Long Beach roads fall at a score of 58. No wonder at the end of the presentation, both the public works director and the city manager seem to signal that a new bond might be the answer. But a new bond just pushes back the debt to our kids who already have to pay back the over $23 million in bonds given and lost on city council members' bad deal on the Queen Mary. To name just one bond gone bad. In a nutshell, here's what the public works director is saying is wrong with our streets. 53% of them are marginal to very poor. Street repairs are backlogged by 26%. The highest backlog most decent cities would even tolerate is 20%, says the director. But the backlog may be higher than even the director knows. Vice Mayor Rex Richardson told the director while the map in the director's PowerPoint presentation designated South Street paving as complete, it's absolutely not. In fact, it's been a 5-year promise to North Long Beach that to date is still broken. If one of the longest streets in the city is inaccurately described as complete, one can only imagine what other glaring mistakes the map may hold. Councilwoman Stacey Mungo pleaded with the director to repair Wardlow, Studebaker, and Clark. Mungo also asked about the crack repair program. The director lamented that the program hasn't even started yet. The roads are so bad in Long Beach that even our statewide drought was noted as a plus. The public work director said that the lack of rainfall, a climate change condition, has been good for our local streets.
The major cause is water. I think we've been lucky in the last few years that we haven't had a lot of rainfall.
There was also a process called slurry and sealing brought up for discussion by Councilwoman Price. She flatly asked the director why slurry and sealing have been stopped for 4 years. The 4-year pause on slurry and sealing by the city meant that moderate streets had more time to develop cracks from water and heavy traffic from trucks. But crack repair programs and slurry and sealing are more like a Band-Aid than real solutions, long-term solutions. In fact, Councilwoman Mungo remarked that patches usually break at the seams and leave bigger potholes. We see that beginning to happen here in Darryl Supernaw's district. But from Councilmember Stacey Mungo to Cindy Allen to Councilwoman Suli Sorrow, the biggest confusion was why it is that the Public Works Director and the City Manager are insisting that the worst roads in Long Beach are repaired last in line. Challenging both the Director and the City Manager, Mungo and Sorrow blasted that the biggest return on investment would actually be to repair the poor streets now. New to City Council, Councilwoman Cindy Allen offered an interesting solution to the cost of maintaining our streets when she asked the Public Works Director whether there were just too many roads in Long Beach. There were more questions than answers. The city's solution? A new bond, more debt, higher taxes, and fees. But our city's roads may be broken because our trust in council is broken. Look at it this way. Imagine that a guy tells you that if you pay him $60 million a year for only a few years, he'll fix all of your crappy streets. And you say, you know what? I trust you. You've got a deal. Then a few years later, the same guy comes back. The roads still aren't fixed. He wants to move the goalpost. He tells you that if you pay him $60 million, but this time with no end in sight, then he'll fix the same roads he already promised to fix a few years ago. Desperate for better roads, you say, you know what? I trust you. You've got a deal. Now, a few years later, the same guy is back again, only this time he wants you to sign for $50 million in credit card debt for a promise to fix the same roads he said he'd fix 7 years ago. This isn't fiction. This is what's happened over the past 7 years in Long Beach. But it begs the question, can you trust his word? Can we trust our elected officials who've already misled local residents on a promise to come through on a basic good, safe roads? That's not for me to decide. 5 council members, including the mayor, are up for re-election soon, and you deserve to know how they're governing your city. This is Franklin reporting for Long Beach Families, reporting for Long Beach News Today.